Hi, welcome everyone. Thanks for joining me. My name is Gemma. I'm here with WGC. I'm a yoga instructor of 6 years, and today I'm going to take you through a flow focused on posture and spinal alignment. So bad posture is something that a lot of us experience, whether it's working at a computer for a long period of time or just picking up bad habits when it comes to posture. So as we move through the asanas today, I'm going to emphasize a lot on how we can work to keep the spine straighter and have the shoulders rolled back, the chest open, so we're not hunching forward and we're not rounding the spine in seated and standing positions. So we're going to start in a seated position, so find a comfortable position that works for you. So that may be sitting cross-legged, but if you feel that sitting cross-legged you're leaning back and the spine is rounding, you might want to try sitting on the heels of the knees together instead, just to give yourself that little bit of height there, and that's going to help keep the spine straighter. Now from here, roll the shoulders back and draw them down away from the ears, so you want the chest to be nice and open. You can close your eyes here with your hands resting on your knees. And feel the contact of your sitting bones against the mat, against the ground. And bring your awareness there to your sitting bones, to your root chakra. The root chakra is the first chakra that helps us stay grounded, centered, and balanced. And start to draw your awareness up through your spine, moving up the spine really slowly, through each vertebra of the spine, and visualize each vertebra of the spine almost stacking on top of each other. The spine is completely stacked over the hips. Bringing the energy up through the neck, through the head. And then here, make sure that your chin is parallel to the ground, so you're not dropping your chin down or you're not lifting it up. So the crown of the head is drawing up and up towards the sky, almost like you have a string or a thread attached to your head and it's pulling you up higher and higher, but at the same time you keep that groundedness in your sitting bones against the floor. Now keeping this posture, bring your awareness to your breath. And just start to notice each inhale and each exhale. As you inhale, notice how the chest rises and expands. As you exhale, notice how it slightly falls and contracts. Keeping your awareness on your breath. If you notice your attention is wandering to your mind, to the thoughts going on in your mind, just gently, compassionately bring the awareness back to your breath, to your body. Now keeping this straightened, lengthened spine, we're going to start to warm up the muscles in the body. As we're starting with the neck, just dropping the head to one side, allow the ear to fall towards the shoulder. Bring the chin forward as you start to create a circular motion with your head. Slowly rolling the head all the way around. Notice if there's any points here in the neck that feel particularly tight or stiff. If so, you might want to linger in those areas for a little bit. See if you can release any tension that arises. And switch in direction, so you're rolling the head the other way. And then slowly bringing the head back to center. Okay, keeping the hands on the knees, will start to loosen up the hips. So you can gently push the knees away from you as you start to create circular motions here, spinal movements. So you can start with slow, small movements. And maybe if it feels good, you can make the movements bigger. And then again, switch direction, go the other way. Making the movements smaller until you arrive back to the center. Again, once the spine stacks over the hips and you're in the center, spine is lengthening still. Release the fingertips to the mat. Now take an inhale here, shoulders drawing back, chest is open, spine is straight. On the exhale, keeping this lengthened spine, start to just walk the fingertips forward. So keeping the back straight, so you're not rounding the upper back. You're just hinging forward from the hips here. So take your time coming into this and make sure that your sitting bones don't lift off the mat here. So they stay grounded into the earth. And then when you reach that point where you can't fold any further forward, just stop here. You can let the head relax so there's no tension. Taking 3 breaths here. And then slowly walking the hands back in, coming all the way back to your seated position. Okay, from here transition into all fours. So come over onto your hands and knees. And bringing the knees about hip distance apart with the hips stacked over the knees, and then hands are about shoulder width apart with the shoulders directly over the wrists. We'll start with a few cat-cow spinal movements here. So movement starts from the tailbone with these movements. So as you inhale, you want to lift the tailbone up to create an arch in the back and open the chest forward, gazing ahead. As you exhale, you draw the tailbone down to round through the spine, bringing the chin into the chest. So continuing this, inhale, arch in the back, open in the chest. Exhale, round in the spine, chin comes towards the chest. And continuing at your own pace. And we'll use this movement to start to connect a bit deeper with the breath. So we're moving here with the breath, allowing each breath to guide each movement. Now, if your body is calling for any different type of movement here, you can go with that. Maybe that's creating some circles with the hips, pushing further forward, further back, figures of 8, anything that feels good to wake the body up, getting ready for your asana practice today. Okay, then coming back to find a neutral spine. So you want to find a halfway point between those two movements, so the back is neither arched or rounded. Now ground the hands into the mat here, so the fingers should be equally distance apart, and you don't want to have any gaps underneath the fingers and the hands. Then tucking your toes under, Press the toes down into the mat to hover the knees just a couple of inches off the mat. So you're pushing the hands into the earth, warming up the arms, the shoulders, and the core. Drawing the belly button into the spine so you're engaging the abdominal muscles. One more breath. Exhale, you're going to lift the hips up and back to arrive in your downward facing dog. So you can start to pedal out the legs here by bending one knee and then stretching the other leg and switching, alternating side to side. And come to find some stillness here. Now feel free to keep a bend in the knees for now as we're still warming up. The main thing that we want to focus on here is the spine and the back being straight. So sometimes people try to straighten the legs completely, and that means that they're rounding or arching the back too much. So just bend the knees slightly, bringing the hips further back and up to get a nice straight back. Take one more breath here. Okay, on your inhale, lift your heels, gaze in towards your hands, bend the knees slightly, and then start to tiptoe your feet forward. So you're walking towards your hands, the top of the mat. And all the way into Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Again, bend the knees here. And let the arms hang, let the head, the neck be heavy. You can rock the head side to side a couple of times. And then bring your awareness here to your feet. Feel the feet firmly rooted into the earth. Spreading the weight evenly between both feet. Slowly start to roll up through the spine. So we're going to unravel the spine nice and slow. If you have any lower back issues, engage your core, drawing the belly button in as you come up. Eventually you'll arrive in your standing position in Tadasana. Now, you can have the feet either in the traditional alignment, which is together, or for a lot of people it feels more natural to have the feet about hip distance apart. So go for whichever alignment works best for you. Roll the shoulders back here, chest is open, palms are facing forwards. You can close the eyes. And again, we're going to work on the posture by drawing the energy up through the body. So starting from the feet, feel that equal weight of both feet pressing into the mat. Draw the energy up the legs. So you bring the energy up the thighs, engaging the kneecaps. Feel how the thigh muscles tighten and engage here. Draw the energy up the spine as you gently draw the belly button in to engage the core muscles. So that engaging the core muscles in our standing postures really helps to keep the spine straight and avoid slouching. Bringing the energy all the way up the spine, the neck, all the way to the crown of the head. So again, the chin is parallel to the earth. And you can imagine that string attached to your head pulling you up and up and up, but without losing that strong, stable foundation in the feet. Take a moment and just memorizing this posture here, this spinal alignment. We want to keep this alignment as we move through all of our standing postures. We want to come back to this foundation. So let's move through some sun salutations here. On your inhale, reaching the arms up overhead, bringing the palms to touch. Now you can gaze up to your thumbs here, and if it feels good, take a gentle back bend. Leaning back to open the chest up to the sky. As you exhale, with your gaze, follow your thumbs as you fold all the way down, nice and slow for this first one. Release the hands to Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Now on your inhale, find a halfway lift, so bringing fingertips either to the mat or to your shins as you open the chest and gaze forward. Exhale, soften the knees and release the hands, and then stepping both of your feet back to find a plank position. So in plank, you want the whole body to be in one long line. Shoulders are stacking over your wrists. Draw the heels to the back of the mat. Draw the crown of the head forward. Hold one more breath. Exhale, drop the knees. Bend the elbows, lowering the chin and the chest down. Release the hips, scoop up on an inhale to cobra. Stay low for the first one, hugging the elbows in, shoulders are back, chest is open. Exhale, tuck the toes under, push back and up, downward facing dog. Take 3 breaths here. And start to notice your breath, is the balance, the inhale and the exhale. If not, see if you can balance it out. So you're breathing in for the same amount of time as you're breathing it out. Throughout the yoga practice, we want to balance the yin and the yang energies in the body. On your next inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward. Now either step, walk, or maybe hop to the front of your mat. Come to your halfway lift, gaze forwards, and exhale, fold, soften the knees. Now this time as you inhale, you're going to reach the arms up, overhead, Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands as palm come to touch. Exhale, draw the hands to heart center. Let's take one full breath here. Come back to that straight spine, beautiful posture. And let's go for another round. Inhale, reach the arms up. Gaze into the thumbs. Open the chest for a back bend if you like. Exhale to fold. Release the hands. Inhale, find a halfway lift. Exhale, step back to your plank. Just one inhale this time. And as you exhale, either knees, chest, chin, or if you're ready for it, you can take chaturanga if it's in your practice. Bending the elbows, lowering the body in one straight line. Before you reach the mat, push into the hands, come up to upward dog or cobra. Draw the shoulders back. Exhale, tuck the toes. Use your core muscles to lift the hips up and back. Downward facing dog. 3 more breaths. Connecting to the sound of your breathing here. It's really calming for the mind to hear ourselves breathe. On your next inhale, lift the heels, soften the knees, gaze forward, step, walk or hop. Halfway lift, exhale, fold. Inhale, grow towards you, reach up and over. Palms come to touch. Exhale as you draw the hands down to heart center. 1 breath here. Come back to your alignment. Get the shoulders relaxed away from the ears. Let's do one more round of this. Inhale, reaching up. Exhale to fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step or maybe hop back, your choice. And then lower on your exhale. So making these sun salutations as gentle or as challenging as you like today, depending on what your body needs. And we'll come to meeting downward dog. 3 more breaths here. Inhale, lift the heels, bend the knees, gaze forward, step, walk or hop. Halfway lift and exhale, fold. Okay, so we're going to stay in this forward fold for a little while. We're going to take this into some twists here. So you're going to bend through your right knee and then with your left hand as you inhale, reaching the arm up. So you're twisting towards your straight leg, which is your left leg. Gazing up to that top hand. Exhale, release. Bend the left knee, straighten the right. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, release. Now from here, heel toe the feet away from each other, so they're just a little bit more than hip distance apart, and bring the toes slightly out so the heels are coming in. Now we're going to sink the hips down to arrive into Malasana, squat pose. We start to open the hips here. So you might want to have the hands touching the mat. That's going to help to keep your balance and your stability. If your stability here is good, you can bring the hands together to heart center with the elbows to the inside of the knees. Now, it's a common thing that I see the people folding forward here, hunching forward. So make sure that your chest remains open. You want to be drawing the sitting bone, the root chakra down towards the earth, and the crown chakra, the crown of the head, reaching up. And that's going to help to keep the spine straight with that visualization there. Take 2 more breaths. Breathing into any intensity that arises around the hips. Nice, and then release the hands. Slowly lift the hips up. Heel toe the feet back in to Uttanasana. As you inhale, find a halfway lift, gaze forward, straighten the back, straighten the legs. Exhale to fold. Release the hands and step back to your plank. Let's take a flow here. Inhale. Exhale, lower your choice, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale, upward dog or cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Nice, okay. From here, as you inhale, reach your right leg up to a 3-legged dog. So keep the hips facing down, reach up with the right toes, drawing the left heel down. As you exhale, bend your right knee and draw the knee forward. You're going to plant the foot in between your hands. Now stepping the back foot slightly in, turn the toes to 45 degrees so the back toes point to the top left corner of the mat. Bend through the right knee as you rise up on an inhale, finding your warrior 1 here. So the hips are facing forward here. If you need the hips, if you can't square your hips to the front of the mat, widen the stance, so widen the feet away from each other. That's going to help to turn the hips forward more. So drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Reaching up with the arms. Bring your awareness to your feet. Spread the weight evenly between the front foot and the back foot. Bringing the energy all the way up the spine, so the spine is stacking directly over the hips. Reaching up through the fingertips. Gaze is straight ahead. Take 1 more breath. Now on your next inhale, straighten your front leg and release the hands by the side. Exhale, bend the knee, reach the arms back up. I'm going to do this 2 more times. Inhale, straight leg, release. Exhale, warrior 1. Last time, moving with your breath. Okay, now keeping the legs exactly where they are, release the hands behind. Preparing for humble warrior. So clasping the hands here. On an inhale, keep your front knee bent and open the chest so you're leaning back slightly by pulling the hands behind you. Look up towards the sky. As you exhale, start to tilt your hips forward. So we keep the back straight and we'll just hinge from the hips. First of all, come halfway, so your torso will be about parallel to the mat. Now just stop here, take an inhale. Exhale, maybe going deeper here, fold into the inside of that right knee. So if you come all the way, you can release the head so the crown of the head starts to draw towards the mat. And then the clasped hands and reaching up and over for that nice additional shoulder stretch. There's 1 more breath here. Inhale, release the hands, reach the arms back or up all the way to your warrior 1. Now you're going to lift your back heel. Then from here, you're going to lower your back knee all the way to the mat, finding a kneeling lunge. Now we're going to interlace the hands by wrapping the wrists around each other like this. So we're going to really get into the shoulders here. Now take an exhale, sink in the hips a little bit more. On your next inhale, open the chest, leaning back here. Exhale, slowly fold forward, release the hands, bringing the left hand to the inside of that front foot, then reach up with your right arm, taking a twist. Gazing up to your right fingertips. Exhale, release the right hand to the outside of your front foot. Now start to draw your hips back as you extend through this front leg. Take an inhale as you gaze forward. You can lift your toes here. And exhale, fold over that leg. Relax the head. So we're working with all different movements of the spine, extending the spine, twisting it, and then flexing it. Slowly rebend the knee, come back to your kneeling lunge, planting the hands either side of that foot, lift your back heel, step back to plank. Inhale here, then taking your choice of flow, knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend. Exhale to downward facing dog. Taking 3 breaths here before we flow through on the other side. Coming back to the breath, equal inhale, equal exhale. Okay, on your next inhale, left leg reaches up to 3-legged dog, hips stay facing down. Exhale, bend the knee and draw the knee forward. And the foot plants in between the hands. Step your back foot in slightly to 45 degrees. Bring the sole of the foot down, rise up for your warrior one on this side. Reposition the feet, change your stance if you need. And then you're going to draw the left hip back and the right hip forward here. Sink the hips a little bit more so the knee is stacking over the ankle. Spread the weight between both feet, bring the energy up the legs, bring the energy all the way up the spine, up the arms, gaze forward. On your next inhale, release the hands, straighten the leg. Exhale, release back. 2 more, inhale. Exhale. Last one. Nice, and then release the hands behind you, clasp the hands for humble warrior here. Inhale as you open through the chest, look up. Exhale. Come halfway forward first of all, parallel to the mat. Take an inhale here. Exhale, go deeper if it feels good. If your body allows it today, start to fold to the inside of that front knee. Allow the crown of the head to draw down to the mat. Keep reaching up and over with the clasp of the hands. On your next inhale, with strong grounded foundation in the feet, rise up to your warrior one. You can lift your back heel here. Transition to your high lunge and start to lower your back knee to the mat to arrive in your kneeling lunge. Keep the back toe tucked under to help with the stability. Okay, wrapping the arms. See if you can wrap the arms the opposite way to how you did it last time. Palms are touching here. Reach up and over as you open through the chest a bit more, working with that extension of the spine. And then exhale. Release, come forward and releasing the right hand, coming into that twist to the left, gaze to the left fingertips. Exhale, release the hand. So to draw the hips back straight and through your front leg, draw the toes in, gaze forward, and exhale, start to fold over that leg, allowing a slight flexion in the spine. Okay, rebend in the knee, plant the hands either side, lift your back knee, step into your plank. Taking your choice of flow here. And we come to meet in downward dog. 3 breaths here. Breathing in through the nose. Breathing out through the nose. Notice if the breath is still balanced. Okay, from here, on an inhale, reach your right leg up to a 3-legged dog. This time as you exhale, you can open that hip by bending the right knee and then draw the knee back with the foot coming towards the buttocks. So you're stretching the right hip out to the side. Maybe you'll gaze up to your right armpit. Keep the hands really pressing into the mat. Inhale, stretch the leg back up, turn the hips forward. Exhale, knee comes forward, plant the foot in between the hands. Okay, from here you're going to swivel your foot to 90 degrees, plant the foot down so your hips open out to the side. Keep your front knee bent, stacking over the ankle. Reach the arms up and over, finding your warrior 2. So here you want your spine to be stacked again over the hips, so you're not leaning into it, but you're bringing your gaze towards the front fingertips. So you want to feel an equal pull between both of your hands. So you're being pulled forward as much as you're being pulled back, and that's going to keep your spine straight over the hips. Take one more breath here, fixing your gaze, your dristi on your right fingertips. Inhale, flip your front palm, then reach the arm up and over, back hand comes to back leg. Gaze up to the top arm. So you can reach the arm behind you, the back of the mat, palm face down. So we start to stretch through the side of the body, the side of the spine here. Should be feeling a good stretch in that right side. Exhale, release back to your warrior 2. Now from here, straighten your front leg. I'm going to move into trikonasana triangle pose. So you can keep a very slight micro bend in the knee joint just to avoid injuring the knee. And start to extend forwards like someone is pulling on your front hand. Extend, extend, extend. Exhale, release. So you can bring your hand to the inside of your shin, maybe fingertips come to the mat, or you might want to take hold of your lower leg also. Then roll your top shoulder back so you're opening the chest here. You want the chest to be opening up and reach up with your top arm, gaze into the top fingertips. So as you're reaching one arm down and the other arm up, you're also reaching the crown of the head forward to keep that extension in the spine. One more breath here. Inhale, rebend the knee, come all the way back to your warrior 2. As you exhale, you're going to swing your left arm down and up, lift your back heel, turn hip so you come back to your high lunge. Okay, we'll work with some balance here, so that's to bring the weight into your front foot. And slowly kick off your back foot, bring the knee up, hug the knee into the chest. So as you're hugging the knee into the chest, make sure you're not folding over into it. Keep that nice posture, keep the chest open, the shoulders back, which may feel a bit more difficult on one leg. And we're going to transition into a tree pose or a variation of tree pose here. So you can come to your traditional tree pose with the foot to the thigh or to the shin, or you can bring the foot to that right hip for a deeper hip opener, bringing the knee down and the sole of the foot would be facing up if you're going for that variation. Bring the hands together to heart center, keep the weight spread in that standing foot. Once you've got your balance, you can then reach the arms up. Maybe separate the arms if you like. And feel the energy moving from your foot, your foundation, and moving all the way up the leg, up the spine, up the arms to the fingertips. Straight line of energy. Hands can come back together. Slowly bring the hands back. Now you're going to take your foot, again hug it back in to the knee. Now we're going to transition into one last balance here, into a warrior three variation. So you can have the hands up by the sides, or you can reach the arms up. You're going to float the leg behind you as you draw the torso down. You want to aim to make that lovely T shape with your body, where the floating leg and your torso are parallel to the mat. You want to bring that floating leg, drawing it to the back of the mat, drawing the crown of the head forward, stretching the body away from each other, creating that line of energy here also. Slowly, with control, bend your front knee to step your back foot onto the mat. Release. Nice. Release the hands. Step back to your plank, taking your flow here. Coming back to downward dog. Let's take 5 breaths here. Coming back to the breath. Notice if it's become a bit more rapid or uneven. Connect back to the sounds of your breathing. Last breath here. Okay, inhale, left leg reaches up to three-legged dog. Exhale, open the hip here, so bend the knee, bring the foot towards the buttocks as you stretch through that left hip. Maybe bring the gaze to the left armpit. Inhale, stretch the leg back up, three-legged dog. Exhale, draw the knee forward, plant the foot in between the hands. Turn your back foot 90 degrees, pivoting on the foot, rise up, finding your warrior two here on the other side, so your hips are facing to the other side. So come back to the alignment here, front knee stacked over the ankle, weight evenly spread between both feet. Stretching through your back hand and your front hand, so the spine stays straight over the hips. Bring your gaze forward. One more breath. Inhale, flip your front palm, reach the arm up and over, hand comes to your back leg. Stretching through that left side of the spine this time. Bring the hand towards the back of the mat. You can bend the elbows slightly here if that helps you just stretch the arm further to deepen that side stretch. Exhale, release back to your warrior two. Straighten the front leg. Keep a slight micro bend. Transition into trikonasana. Inhale as you extend forward through your left fingertips. Exhale, hinge from the hips to bring the hand down. Take hold of the leg or bring the fingertips to the mat. Reach up through your top arm. Keep rolling that top shoulder back so the chest is nice and open. And that might mean that you need to bend the straight knee a little bit more to keep the chest open and the shoulder drawing back. One more breath here. Inhale, come all the way back to your warrior two. Exhale, swing the right hand down, pivot on your back foot to transition to your high lunge here. Bring the weight into the front foot. Float your back leg. Hug the knee into the chest. Okay. Find your stability here. Find the straight spine, shoulders drawn away from the ears, crown of the head reaching up. Transition into your variation of tree pose, either the standard one, with a foot to the thigh or shin. Or if you want to deepen that hip stretch, bring the knee down with the sole of the foot facing upwards. Hands come together. Fix your gaze, find your drishti by focusing on one point directly in front of you. Once you feel stable, you can reach up. Maybe open the arms. Keep visualizing the energy drawing up from your foot, up through your leg, through your spine, through the crown of the head. Bring the hands back together. Bring the hands back to heart center. And then bring the knee back in to the chest for our last balance here. When you're ready, you can float back. Either hands by the side or reach the arms forward, your choice. Find your warrior three. Point the toes to the back of the mat. Reach the fingertips forward if the arms are out in front. Draw the crown of the head forward. Nice. Slowly bend the knee with control. Release the back foot. Release the hands to your low lunge. Nice. So let's wash that out with a flow. Step back to plank. Inhale. Exhale, lower. Inhale, back bend. Exhale. Downward facing dog. Nice. From here, drop onto your knees with the knees together, big toes touching. Bring your hips down to your heels, come to a child's pose. So allow your chest to come towards your thighs, so you're flexing the spine and folding over the legs. And then let your forehead come to rest onto the mat, so there's no tension in the neck. I'm taking 5 long deep breaths here. Slowly come to a roll up to sit onto your heels. Okay, so we move into some seated postures here. Bring the hips to one side, bring the legs out in front of you. So we're going to take a seated twist here. So first of all, before we move into the twist, make sure that you are sitting straight and you're not leaning back or hunching forward. So a trick I like to do is to pull the flesh of the buttocks out to the side and slightly back. So that helps just to ground the sitting bones a bit more into the mat. You can also bring your hands onto your hips here and slightly tilt the pelvis forward if you still feel like you're leaning back. Now, bend in the right knee, so bring the foot in towards you. And you can bring the foot over to the outside of that opposite leg. So you have 2 choices here. You can keep this leg straight, or you can bend that leg also, bring on the foot towards the hip. But if you bend the knee, just make sure that both sitting bones stay in contact with the mat. If that feels too restricted, keep the leg straight. The twist is still going to be the same. Okay. Now bringing the right fingertips behind you. So you bring the fingertips just behind your back, touching the mat. Then inhale, reach up through your left arm. Keeping the spine straight here. As you exhale, the movement is coming from your core, the center of your body. So you're twisting from your core towards your right. You can bend the elbow. Keep using the core muscles to twist, and then hook the elbow to the outside of that knee. Nice. Now take an inhale, find more length in the spine to ground the sitting bones down, reach up through the crown of the head. On the exhale, twisting a little deeper, bringing the gaze to your back shoulder. And we're going to stay here for 3 breaths. Now every inhale, focus on lengthening, creating that length in the spine. Every exhale, moving into that space that we've just created with the lengthening. 2 more breaths like that. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, twist. After your next exhale, slowly release all the way back to center. So if you have both of your knees bent here, we'll do a cool little transition to get to the other side. So you're going to do a little counter twist to the left side, just release the hands and drop the head. Then you're going to push into your feet to lift the hips, and you're going to swivel around. It's like a break dance move all the way to the other side. If you get lost along the way, don't worry. So this time your left foot is going to be bent, and that's going to come over your right leg, and then you'll have your right foot come into the hip, or you can keep that right leg straight. Okay, so for the other side, bringing the left fingertips behind you this time, and you plant the fingers close to the back to help keep the back straight. Inhale, reach up for your right arm. Exhale, use the core muscles, the center of the body, to initiate that twist. Bend the elbow, bring the elbow to the outside of that knee. Okay, inhale, lengthen through the chest, the spine. Exhale, twist in a little deeper, turn your gaze behind you. Take 3 breaths like that. And with the arm in this position, you can gently press the elbow into the knee to deepen the twist, but try and use the core muscles mainly. You want the movement more coming from the core here. Last breath. And then slowly release. All the way back to center. Okay, and you can do that little counter twist, just drop the head here. If you want to take the break dance, you can, otherwise you can just stretch the legs out this time. And give the legs a shake, little wiggle. And we'll move into seated forward fold, Paschimottanasana. So again, do the adjustments that you need, pull the flesh back and out, tilt your pelvis forward, whatever you need to do. Now for this forward fold, if you still feel like sitting in this position, you're leaning back or you're hunching forward, bend the knees slightly, because that's probably because you've got tight hamstrings, so it's compensating by slouching the posture. So just bend the knees slightly here. As you inhale, reach up through the arms. As you exhale, hinge forward from your hips. So keep your upper arms in line with your ears as you come forward. And keep your gaze forward. So you're leading with your heart here. Your heart is drawing you forward. That's going to stop you from just rounding the upper back. Now, once you reach that point where you want to fold and round the back, then stop here and just release the hands to wherever they come to. Okay, now on your inhale, come up halfway, straighten the back, gaze to your toes. Exhale, see if you can come a little bit further, but without compensating by rounding the upper back. Nice. And then relax the head here, so just let the head and the neck relax. Maybe shake the head a couple of times to release any tension. And find some stillness for 3 breaths. Slowly rolling back up the spine, back to your Dandasana, your seated position. And bringing the knees out to the side, bring the soles of the feet together. So We're actually going to do Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined butterfly, instead of folding forward. So make sure that you have space behind you here. You might have to shovel forward if you're at the back of the mat. So the soles of the feet are touching here. So to come back, you can walk your hands behind you. So you can place the hands behind, then you can just lower yourself down, come onto your forearms, and come all the way onto your back. And as you come down, you might have to change the positioning of your feet. So you might want to bring the feet further away from you, or you might want to deepen that stretch in the hips by bringing the feet closer in towards you. So find a good spot here where you're feeling a stretch in the inner hip flexors. Just relax the arms on the mat, relax the shoulders. And just take 5 breaths here, allowing this nice hip opening to take place. And then gently draw the knees up, place the soles of the feet on the mat. And then hug the knees into the chest here. So give yourself a hug. Allow the back, the lower back to press into the mat as you do. And then place both feet onto the mat. We'll take one more hip stretch here. Reclined figure 4. So if you reach your right leg up, and you're going to turn that right knee out to the side and place the right ankle over your left thigh, like that, just below the knee. Then you can lift, if you can stay here. If this is already quite a deep hip stretch, stay here. Otherwise, you can lift your left foot off the mat, and then you can thread your right arm between your legs and the other hand comes around, so you clasp in the hands behind the thigh. Then you can draw the thigh in towards you. And the more you draw the leg towards you, the more you're going to intensify that hip stretch. And then keep your right toes flexed here. If you're not feeling much and you want to go further, instead you can clasp the hands to the shin and see if that intensifies it more. Okay, releasing the left foot, releasing the right foot. Bring the knees to touch here, and then just drop the knees from side to side like windscreen wiper motions for a few times as a nice release before we do the other side. Okay, so other side, lifting the left foot, turn the knee out to the side, place the ankle over the right thigh. Choosing the variation here, maybe clasping behind the thigh, maybe clasping over the shin. Drawing the right leg in towards you to deepen the stretch. And then slowly release. Release both feet, let the knees touch. Again, drop the knees from side to side a few times. Okay, so we're going to finish with strengthening the back and also extending the spine with bridge pose. So make sure that you can touch the back of your heels And both feet are firmly planted into the mat, about hip distance apart. So press the feet into the mat. Use the press of the feet to lift the hips up here. So keep lifting the hips up to the sky. And then you can bring your hands and clasp your hands underneath you, walking the shoulder blades closer in towards each other. And press the clasp of the hands down as you lift the hips higher. Hold here for 5 breaths. And keep hugging the thighs in towards each other. So you can imagine that you have a football in between your knees and you have to hold it there. So you're pressing the thighs in towards each other. Last breath. Release the hands out to the side and then slowly roll the spine vertebra by vertebra onto the mat until the entire spine is released. You want to hug the knees back into the chest here. Give yourself a squeeze. Rock gently side to side to massage the lower back into the mat. And we'll finish up with a reclined twist. Open your arms out wide to shoulder height with palms facing up and drop, just allow the knees to fall over and drop to the right side. You can turn your gaze to your left fingertips. Make sure that left shoulder stays drawing down into the mat. And close your eyes here, allowing the body to relax, the muscles to soften as we move towards Shavasana, our final resting pose. Bring the knees back up to center, drop them to the other side, turning the gaze to the right fingertips. 5 breaths here. And bring the knees back up to center. And then transitioning into your Shavasana here. Any last minute movements you want to take, or just stretching the legs out, coming straight into your Shavasana. And allow the feet to splay out to the sides. Relax the arms on the mat, relax your shoulders. Closing the eyes. Start to scan through your body here, starting from your head. Feel the weight of your head resting into the mat. Draw your awareness down to the shoulders, let the shoulders sink into the earth. And the awareness down the arms, all the way down to the wrists, the hands, the fingers. Relaxing each and every muscle there. Bring the awareness down the upper back, the middle back, the lower back. Softening all of the muscles around the spine. Come into the hips, let the hips sink down into the earth, completely relaxed. And drawing the awareness down the back of the thighs, the back of the knees, the back of the calves, the ankles, the feet, and finally the toes, relaxing each and every muscle in the legs. Slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers, bringing some movement back into your body. Stretch the legs away from you, stretch the arms overhead for a full body stretch. When you're ready, bend the knees and hug the knees in towards your chest. You can rock over to one side. And in your own time, making your way back to a seated position. Let the hands rest on the knees and just take these last few moments observing how you feel physically, how you feel mentally and emotionally. Noticing any differences, any shifts between now and earlier before the practice. Bringing the hands together to heart center, express gratitude to yourself for taking this time out today for your yoga practice. And bowing the head to the hands, namaste. Thank you everyone for joining this yoga practice. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be posting new yoga videos every day.